Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Failure Way Forward. I'm your host, Dalila Jordan. And today we have a very exciting guest, Mrs. Kayla Stutson. Yes. Hi, Kayla.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Look good, girl.
Thank you. So do you. Likewise. Kayla Stutson is an inspiring woman. She is the owner of Thrive Insurance and Consulting Agency. Kayla sells life insurance and she loves to help family and annuities, and she loves to help families get their financial house in order. But not only that, Kayla is a proud wife and a mother of two sons, and she hosts an inspiring women's conference. This is your fifth year, right, Kayla?
This is our fifth year.
Yeah.
Still blows my mind. Still blows my mind.
Awesome. We are excited about it. The conference theme this year is Fearless.
Yeah.
I love that title. If you are afraid, you said do it anyway.
Do it. If God told you to do it anyway.
Do it anyway. I like that fearless because fearless can be a great hurdle to try to overcome. And
Yeah,
fear can stagnate us.
very much so. It'll either keep you somewhere you're not supposed to be or push you somewhere where you ain't supposed to go.
Absolutely. And really, fear is just, discomfort, afraid of being discomforted, or thinking something, you're going to have some type of adverse effect or pushing you out of your comfort zone, something you're uncomfortable with. So your conference focuses on inspiring women to get out of their comfort zone and go forward. And I love that because this podcast
Exactly what
is
He
Fail
wants you
Your
to
Way
do.
Forward, Fail Your
Yeah.
Way Forward. And that means basically you're going to fall down and scrape your leg and bump your knee sometimes. Your plans won't work out. You'll be thrown off course sometimes, but get back up. Dust yourself off, get back up, and get back in the race and do that thing that is buried in your heart, your dreams, your goal, whatever it is you believe God is giving you, your dreams, your goals. Press forward in spite of the setbacks.
That part.
That part.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows you're gonna have plenty of them.
Plenty of setbacks. Oh my goodness.
Yes. So today that's what we want you to talk about. We want to hear the woman you are, the setbacks you've had to be able to have this life that you have. You have a husband that you've been married to 8 years. You have two little boys, and you are a proud business owner, a boss lady. And when we talked, I really admire how you explained how you had to go through trials and failures. We call them failures, but opportunities to grow
Mhm.
that could have destroyed your marriage and the lifestyle that God has afforded you to have now. And I want you to talk about that. Just touch on that a little bit so women can know that you just didn't get here. You just didn't get here living
We
this
did
life
not.
where you have your own business. You can make your own schedule. You can set your household up the way you want and still enjoy your husband.
Yes. So I know like the first on the list was with the marriages. Marcus and I, we've been married 8 years, but we've been in this thing for 15 years. I met Marcus right before I turned 22,
Mhm.
and I am 37. So I was like, oh my God.
For a long
But
time.
it's been a minute. But it really showed me, we talked about failures. I like you said, I never really used the word failure. Like you said, it's an opportunity. It was a learning moment. It was an opportunity for growth. So when Marcus and I first got married, I came in with like an idea of what marriage was supposed to look like. But I was also independent boss lady. Like I did my own thing. I lived by myself. I've never had a roommate. Like I went where I wanted to go, bought what I wanted to buy, and I did what I wanted to do. So when I got married, it was really hard trying to figure out how to let go of the ideas, submit to my husband, but still be true to myself. But I feel like in the beginning, I kind of learned who I really was, like more so like who God was calling me to be versus who I thought that I was. Um, I was never lost in Marcus. You know, some people get married, you're like, oh, I just lose myself to my husband. I feel like I found myself with him.
That's
Most people think
good.
the word like submission, they think it's like it's not. It's not a submission of power. Marcus takes everything that our family comes up against, every time there's a decision that needs to be made, we talk about it as a whole. He takes into consideration my thoughts, I take into consideration his thoughts, but ultimately he makes the final choice for our family because he is the head of our household. The thing that made it hard was my parents divorced when I was young. And so I don't like, I know what like the outside of that looks like, but I never learned like conflict resolution. I never learned like how my mom got to the point of the submissiveness. Like I never saw that. So I didn't have anything to pull off of. So it was kind of like my own misconceptions of what I thought it was supposed to be. So when I finally chose and surrendered to God, because my husband is a believer and we're equally yoked. And I had to remind myself that the God that I serve is also the God that he serves. And that any decision that he makes, he's talking to God about it. So, and there are some things that God is going to talk to Marcus about that he's not going to talk to me about because it's not my place. And I'm okay with that. It took a long time to get there. And it was literally situation by situation, day by day, and me sounding crazy talking to myself saying, let him do it, Kayla. Let him do it. Because in the back of my head, there's always that fear like, what if this doesn't work out? What if this isn't the right decision? But that's not on me. And
But
I
you know
think
what? That's
it was
great.
liberating. It was
That
really, I'm like, do
that's
what you want to do, bro. Let's see how this
that's
works out.
great as far as you said a lot of things. One thing you said, you found yourself and still you kept yourself, your independence, your individuality, who Kayla was. So you had to know yourself when you got married. That's important to not lose your identity, but yet being able to be comfortable in your own skin and be able to submit and merge with your husband, because that's what you're doing. You're becoming one. And that is not an easy task to do. You do have to trust God and trust him and be malleable, be able to be shaped and molded in your marriage and allowing God and his word to work on you. So
Very, very much so.
that's awesome. And you said, it took you a lot to get to this place. Let's talk about it. One thing you share with me is being complacent or kind of not really accepting how he wanted you to present all the time, wanting you to be this diva 24/7. You already a diva, but let's talk about
When he sees this, he's gonna be like, really? Like you put on a fitted cap.
but it's cute. It works. It's cute.
Thanks. Yes, my husband and I had completely different upbringings. Completely different upbringings. They were very much so like I want to say like name brand ish, but they just wore name like they wore the nicer clothes. They were always dressed like Marcus was always that dude. I could care less what my clothes look like. I went through a couple of goth phases. I went through the preppy girl phase. I went through the I don't care. I got clothes on phase. And that kind of carried over because like clothes to me, like they're just clothes. They're just it's something that's in just the back of my mind. I'm gonna grab something that doesn't match. Close enough. Let's go. Um,
But
the
one thing
one
you said is that what you did in the beginning to catch him, you stopped doing in your marriage to keep him satisfied or loving
well,
how you presented.
on the outfit wise, no, Marcus really had to like mold me into that,
Okay.
if per se. So like when Marcus met me, I was working at American Eagle. And so majority of my clothes were shorts, flip-flops, and t-shirts because that's what they have at American Eagle. So that's what I had on. Um, but he liked girls that kind of dressed up more. And I didn't tell you this part. I meant to tell you. Me and Marcus had got to a point in our relationship where I was just so over it.
Mhm.
Like I was like, you know what? If you want me to dress a certain way, then you buy my clothes. And he has been buying my clothes since
Well, you always
then. And I'm
do
just like,
very feminine, very stylish. Yes, even this.
and I think it was more so like an insecurity for me because I never saw myself like that. And Marcus made a very valid point, like in the very early setup of our marriage, is I am a representation of him when he's not around. And I'm like, you know what? He's like, so if you walking around looking mishandled, they're gonna think it's me that's mishandling you. And I was like, you're right. So
What made you change your mindset about how you presented or presenting your way, you're addressing in a way that he thought was attractive and that you also liked as well?
because I never thought about it like that. Like when my husband is not around, like I'm still representing, just like at church. Even though you're not at church, you're still a representation of church. So it matters, what you wear, how you talk, what you think, where you go. Like it matters as much as you don't want it to matter in the society that we live in right now. It's like you do what you want to do, baby. You like do you. That's not the confines of marriage for us. I can't speak for everybody else's marriage and what works for them, but for me and Marcus, I'm a very black and white person. I am very like boundary set. Um, because if I don't put myself in sticky situations, I don't have to worry about sticky situations. So when it comes to how I dress, what I say, what I talk, I have a friend of mine that says, your husband's in corporate America and he's around, the Jessica Rabbits all day long, right? And then he come home to you looking like Miss Seeley. Like how if the roles were reversed, how would you feel? So it was little instances, little seeds that have been planted over a long time that really kind of made it hit. And then to also take into consideration, like I was I wasn't even 30 when I was right before I was still in my 20s when we got married. So I read somewhere they were like, your brain doesn't even fully, develop till you're 25. So like we're like 3 years in and I'm starting to get married to this guy. And so it took a lot of seed planting, people speaking to me in love
Mhm.
and accepting, like, there are quirks and stuff about you that he's accepted. This is just a quirk. It is what it is. Nobody can change it. You can talk till your face turns blue. This is how he was brought up. This is how you were brought up. And he's accepted things about you. So this is something that needs to be accepted as well. And it's not to say, like, if he saw me like this, he'd be like, okay, that's cool. Jewelry, hair, makeup, whatever. But there's some days, there's some days I'm like, dang, Kayla, you went out looking like that? Like I think I told you, I was like, I'm either like church baddie or like homeless soccer mom. Like on a rare occasion, you catch me in the in between.
Do you think that is part of who you are now, is presenting the way he likes you to present and dressing that in a way he finds attractive? Does that still define Kayla, and have you kept your independence in that?
Yeah, because like I said, like I feel like I found myself more. I found out who I am individually more when I was with him. And so he has opened my eyes to a lot of different experiences, places, trips, um, like responsibility, just a lot of stuff that I never thought about, which has kind of molded and changed the way that I do. For anybody that knows me, like I love a good heel, baby. Like I will half my closet are heels. I love a good heel. I do like to dress up, especially on the weekends. It's just he said something to me. It's like last week, a week or two ago, and I think I shared it with you. I was like, I don't want to put on makeup and stuff during the week. Like, don't nobody see me. And I have a really crazy fear of like wasting an outfit, even though I don't go nowhere. So like I work from home, I pick my kids up and I bring them back home. But I like have a fear of wasting an outfit. And I was like, nobody sees me. So what's the point? And he goes, but I see you. And I was like, oh.
Yes, and men are visual. What would you say to women who have husbands that want them to look a certain way and present a certain way and they don't feel like it? Maybe they did in the beginning when they were dating, and now
And
they
now you two
just,
babies
you kind
in
of
a
like let their stuff
household.
go, throw something on. What would you say to them to encourage them to still fix themselves up so their husband
I would
they could be
say,
eye candy for their husbands?
right. I would say like the same measure that we measure them up on, like what you did to keep me. I mean, to get me, you need to do to keep me.
Yes.
Same, same.
But you
And I
encourage
know it's
fix that,
hard.
fix themselves
Right,
up. Yes. Or
right.
take
And I know
pride in
it's,
themselves.
yeah, because I mean, like for me, I don't even think it's a pride thing. I think it's and again, I'm speaking for me and like some of my mommy friends that I have. So I have my 13-year, he'll be 13 on Sunday, and I have a 4 that'll be 5 next month. And I think we just get so lost
Mhm.
in the day to day and getting kids dropped off and kids picked up and the house cleaned up and this is done. And we're such like checklist mommies because we have so much to do
Absolutely.
that it's kind of like on the back end. It's like okay, well, I don't have time to, throw them some liner or whatever because I got to get these kids dropped off. But like I said, like my friend was like, Jessica Rabbits, Sealy, what you and the reality is no matter who the man is, because this is just how they're built, like they are visual creatures just by nature. So again, for me, I cannot speak for everybody else, but for me, what I've experienced, like stories I've heard from friends and stuff, we have to make sure that, it's not self-care. Like these are basic needs. Like, did you shower? Did you brush your teeth today? Did we comb our hair out? Did you leave that bonnet on? Please tell me you took the bonnet off. Please
Definitely.
put a cap on. You know what I mean? Um,
Round it
and
up.
just making yourself like feel girly again, like just not getting so caught up in the day to day that you forget, who you were before them kids, these kids, before them kids. Like, because
Definitely.
they're gonna leave. They're
Yes.
gonna be gone. And then what?
And you want to nurture your husband, nurture your relationship, nurture yourself. And when you feel good about yourself, it comes through in everything else you do.
Absolutely.
Only your own self, but your husband will see how good you look and the effort you put in to keeping yourself up. And one thing I know as a woman who is a wife, a mother, who has a job, we can put so much into our jobs, our children, especially those children. They can pull us trying to keep our houses together, that there's nothing left when we see our husbands at the end of the day. We're either exhausted, very little attention, and to preserve something for him or keeping some energy or letting something else go so you can have some energy or some desire to have attention with him is important, that he should make the list as well.
Because and
That
again,
helps nurture your
I just been
relationship.
getting nuggets everywhere. Because for everything that you give a yes to, you're giving a no to something else.
That's
And
true.
because in the back of our head, we just know that they're gonna be there is typically, and this is on both ends, men and women, wife and husband. In the back of our heads, like, oh, she gonna be there. But divorce rates are up like nobody's business.
Definitely. Definitely.
And so I am completely secure within my marriage. But at the same time, you also have to, like this is still a reality. Like this is still a thing. And not to say that, like just because I don't dress good, my husband ain't gonna love me. But just like we said before, like you was buying flowers in the beginning, you was picking me up, you was doing this. Okay, well, you was getting your hair done, you was wearing dresses and
Nanny,
heels.
Patty, right.
Right. And now I'm coming home, you in my old t-shirt, some sweatpants, and a bonnet. What
Absolutely.
is this? Like, so it's the same thing. But for us in the beginning, that was a really big thing. And it was really like retrospective for me. And like I said, the biggest thing that he ever said to me that hit me that hard was you're a representation of our house. Like, so how you look reflects how I treat you. Is this how you feel I treat you? And I was like, no, like, bro, we living good over here. And he was like, okay. I was like, yeah.
That's awesome. That's good. And also you shared that another area that was hard for you to change in your marriage was, relinquishing not only, his ideas of how you should present, but also your finances, and not being willing to, merge checking accounts or merge your finances because possibly it was a fear or, trust issue where you wanted to keep
Both of
your independence.
them.
Talk about that, how you changed your attitude towards that.
When I met Marcus, I was literally paycheck to paycheck, paycheck to paycheck. And he didn't know until like kind of later in our situationship, the turn relationship. Um, and I remember like once we had got married, he like we were shopping and it was something that I wanted. And I was like, no, I gotta wait till payday. And he was like, what? Like it's like $50. I said, like I gotta wait till payday. Like it's not an option. So he I think at that point he was like, well, we could just do, a joint account. And I said, absolutely not with a capital A.
Why was that something hard for you that you didn't want to consider?
Because I think I told you guys earlier that my parents divorced at 13 and my mom and my dad had a situation where the finances were depleted on one end and not the other. And I never wanted to be in that situation. I never wanted anyone to have that because I saw what it did and I saw the repercussions of that at such a young age. It's definitely one of those core memories.
Definitely.
Um, I never wanted to put myself in that situation.
So your
So,
experiences from what you experienced from your parents, you carried, and you didn't want to have joint finances or joint account with your husband. So how did you change your mind?
right. I changed it because we had he was just like, you gotta trust me. Like, I ever, screwed you over on money before? I said, no, but I've never given you the opportunity to do it either. And
That's
he's,
big. That's big. Yes.
so we actually, ended up coming to a conclusion because I was tired of transferring money for bills and we were going back and forth and this is split and this is not and it was a whole mess. And so we ended up I had a conversation with my sister and she was like, did you tell him why? I said no, because it ain't his business. I can tell him that. She goes, but he's your husband, it is your business. So I told him what happened, and that's when he went to the like, you gotta trust me. I've never screwed you over before. Like, you gotta trust me. So because of the heart that my husband has and he knows like how my parents divorce like created my reality, because for me that this is reality. A lot of people may not have experience, but for me this is a reality. This is a true fear. I've seen it play out. The compromise that we came to, because he's very big on compromising, so even though he's head of his household, he's still very considerate of my needs. We have the way our budget is set up is everything comes into a joint account. And we created our budget together. So all of our monthly bills, how much we want to save each month, miscellaneous stuff. And then we both get technically an allowance, which was the money left over, and we split it between the two of us. So even though like I work technically part-time, we get the same amount of spending money. That is his sacrifice for me, in his compromise as well. So I don't have any secret accounts or anything like that. Like, where's your backup account? I don't have that. I have an account that my husband knows about that he's on as well. It's not that big of a deal, but it has made life that much easier. Honestly, like it was more trying to hold on to my independence and transfer this. And did you get that? Why did you pay this? And now it's just like swipe the card.
That's good. And so you said it came with trust. How did you get to trust him?
Oh,
How
baby, it's a leap
did
of faith.
a leap of
I
faith?
I didn't at all. And I was
A
like,
lot of women would be like, "Oh no, I can't relinquish that. I'm not willing to compromise my finances, or, I don't know if I can, trust my husband to, take control over things I've worked for." But as a woman of God and someone that is a believer also, your trust has to come from your faith and believing if your husband wants an opportunity to be trustworthy for you to give that to him. That's a
I
big
think it was a little easier for me too, because Marcus does nothing but money and numbers all day anyway. Um, I think like one of the
it
biggest,
makes you give up a part of your independence or someone to make a decision on something maybe you've earned. That is a leap of faith.
yeah, because I think like before I did this and I was still working full time, based off of the commissions that I received, there would be some months where we would make the same amount. And I'm like, I remember the argument. I was like, no, my commissions is my money. That's extra money. Like, why would I put my commissions? Like, I get a base pay and I get commissions. So why would I give you my? That was a long term argument. And to a point where I was just like, okay, fine, whatever. Because like, one, I'm tired of arguing it about it. Two, my relationship with you is not um worth, ruining over, a couple $1,000s a month. Um, it's not that big of a deal. It's really not. And so when we merged everything, because we did it together, that's the big thing. He didn't just say, okay, and then he just went off and handled all of it. Like we sat down together, he showed me every bill, every amount, how the savings, where it was going to move to. Like he's a very much an itemized line person. And so like even to this stage, you walk into sales and people are like, who's your baby? I don't know. That's not what I deal with. Cutoff letters over here. Ain't no eviction notices. He's doing his thing and I'm good with that. Like I can just focus on the kids in the house while he handles the rest of that. And like I said, I have full access to it. He gets mad most of the time because I don't even look into it. And I was like, that should show you how much I trust you to go from absolutely not to, I don't know, he's doing it. Like
So your trust grew over time.
literally.
That's awesome. Because you said at one time it was almost call it quits because not accepting his perspective on certain things like how you looked or how he would like for you to look, joining your bank accounts and money and these things that we're talking about can cause marriages to fail.
And just like mispreconceptions, like what you think marriage should look like
Right.
versus what your marriage is going to look like.
That's true. That's
That
true.
was a big thing. Cause like I said, it was just me and my mom. And like if you saw something need to be done, you just did it and you didn't wait for your spouse or, it wasn't very much gender rolled when I came up. And so for him, like he came up in a two-parent household, but his dad worked a lot. So his mom picked up a lot of the slack. So that was his reality. So when we tried to merge that together, I was like, oh no, sir.
Your marriage looks totally different from the background, from the marriage you came from, the family structure you came in from, and the family structure he came from. And
We had to
because of
sit down
that,
and create it.
because of your trust and your growth and being malleable and being able to change and trust God, what type of life has it afforded you now? What's the benefit of you changing your perspective and being able to grow and not being stuck in what you are accustomed to?
So we are building house number 2.
Mhm.
That is literally double the size of house number 1. That is triple the size of the apartment that we moved into when we first came down here. I am no longer working full-time corporate America.
Okay.
Like I said, I run my business by appointment, and I take the clients that I want to take because there are some people that I'm just not your agent. And have the freedom to be able to say that within. I have the freedom to be able to say that. So not only was he accepting of me leaving corporate America to do this, I worked part-time, 3 days a week, 6 hours a day. I am able to be there for our boys, everything, fully able to keep our household going, swipe the card, go shop and do what I need to do. I'm able to set boundaries, like my own boundaries within my job. So when it comes to anything that I do, I am available from 9 to 3, period.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So it's
So
it's
the
been
fruit of your change has blessed your household financially Your marriage is stronger. Yes, no, yes.
Much so. Very much so.
And you're able to take care of your children and be there for them. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
And
So,
the security that's been provided has like built our communication as well. Because that was another thing that we almost had to call it quits on in the beginning is like I didn't feel secure enough to talk to him, and I was always very defensive. And so within that first year, we were like, okay, what are we doing?
mhm. What, you guys both were like, I'm tired of this. Maybe we should go our separate ways. Okay. I understand that.
But when we sat down and we put in the work, because I think that's the part that everybody misses. Like they see the dress, they see the rings, they see the bridesmaids, they see all of this, but there are gonna be hard times, and those hard times either gonna make you or break you. And luckily, in our hard time, we both still wanted this, and so we both went to go seek wise counsel.
That's
So
good.
we went through couples counseling. We had mediators that was able to translate, from boy language to girl language, from girl language to boy language, to make things work. Um, and that would I would say that one would be another failure that I like almost cost me everything because I wasn't willing to communicate how he could understand it. And so we sought outside help so that you could understand we could understand it back and forth.
That's good, Kate, because one scripture I always go back to and I think about a lot is Proverbs 14:1. A wise woman builds her house, but a foolish one tears it down with her own hands. Not somebody else, but you. You can be the destroyer of your own household by the things you just said, being defensive, not your husband not being able to talk to you, not being willing to change, listen to maybe his ideas, submitting. You said we're independent. You have your own job, your own career. Now you have your own company, but being able to listen to your husband's perspective and being able to grow in areas that may be uncomfortable or could cause you fear is how you build a strong house and how you prevent from being the destroyer of your own house and what God is trying to do in your life through your own reservations and your own hard-heartedness or stubbornness or have these preconceived notions of how your marriage should be and you're just not willing to go there. But getting counsel and being able to maybe check yourself or giving someone a chance, having trust is a big deal. Those are the things that you utilize to build a strong household and a strong marriage, where you can be on the other side, where you can now build your next house and have financial success and have the structure you said, where you create your own hours. That's admirable. Yes. So talk about this conference that you hold every year where you are pouring into other women. Are you sharing your testimony and things that helped you get here in your Fearless conference?
So that will be dropped the September, like not September, on that Saturday. It will be dropped on that Saturday. So Fearless 2024, I do a women's conference every year. Every year is a different title. And every year it's something that God is dealing with me personally. And I know I can't be going through it by myself. So why not make it a girls' day and we all just figure it out together?
Okay.
So that's where it came from. Like I said, yes, this year was Fearless. There's a lot of moves that were going on, a lot of change. And I don't like change. I am very much a please keep everything the same. I like consistency, but there's no growth in that. Right. And had I not be willing, like even changing my marriage, like we wouldn't be here, or my parenting, I wouldn't be able to communicate with my kids the way that I do. In my business, having to, move and shake according to, different laws and regulations. But this Fearless conference, there's a, I feel like there's a call to the women right now to rise up within the walk of Christ. Like there is, like, we were not hushed. If you really read the Bible, the first person that saw Jesus was and she went to go spread the gospel, go spread the good news. It was her. So like it's time for us to like whatever God is calling you to do, whether it's to start that business, whether it's to, start a Bible study at home, whether it's to, go ahead and really submit to your husband, whatever it is that God is telling you to do. I feel like it's one of those right now moments. And it's
Absolutely.
one of those like, how do you not know this won't be the last time he asked you? If he's been pushing at you for this, either he's going to use you or you're not going to get used. So
Absolutely.
in this conference, like we always like to make it fun. So this being the 5th year, we kind of went all out. So we're doing a 2-day conference this year. Friday is just a big praise and worship night, and we have a powerhouse speaker coming in from Atlanta, Georgia, Tamaria Weaver. She was actually with us last year and said that she had another word, so she's coming back. And I said, well, come on back.
Okay.
Come on back. So Celeste Peterson is leading us in praise and worship that night. On Friday night, we'll have food trucks. Our VIP vendors will be out there as well. We're doing raffles and giveaways. We are actually partnering up with CD Ministries, and we're doing a pretty panty drive. So
Any drive. Okay. Are you
yeah,
giving
so we
them away or are you selling them?
no, so we are for every pack of panties that you bring in, you get
Okay.
2 extra raffle tickets. These panties are being donated to the CD Ministries with Pastor Tammy Dozier,
Okay.
and she is taking them to the shelters because it's one thing to have to be, a woman in a space like at least give me some pretty underwear, child. Just let me kind of remind me of my femininity as I'm going through this. So for every pack that you bring in, you get 2 extra raffle tickets. So you'll get 1 with your admission and then 2 if you bring in a pack. We have VIP, we have general admission as well. All of the information can be found on the website. Our VIP is going to give you front section seating, a separate entrance, a special gift from yours truly that will be handed out on Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday, we have a dynamic panel that's coming in. We have Lucretia Mitchell coming from Oklahoma City, and she's going to be talking to you guys through church hurt because it's a real deal.
Yeah.
It's a real deal, and it can church hurt can confuse a lot of people and make you associate fix your faith on the people within the church, not the Christ. And
Absolutely.
so a lot of people that go through church hurt leave the church, and it's no, and leave Christ. And so she's going to kind of talk to you about that. We have Sade Lewis of Spoken Boundaries. She is also from Oklahoma City. She is a domestic violence advocate and survivor.
Okay.
So she's coming in to talk to you ladies about that self-worth, what to look for, what red flags, things that are normal, things that you hard stop. And then we have Quilla Odom, which will not tell you about her. That one, you gotta come on Saturday to hear hers.
Definitely.
When
I'm
she
getting
told
into
me her story, chills, whole body. I said, what? Are you kidding me? So make sure y'all come for that. And then every year, people are like, Kayla, how do you have a conference and you're not the speaker? I was like, because God ain't told me to speak. So I ain't speaking. But this year he did. So that's another thing. I've never spoken at my own conference. I have spoken podcasts. My husband and I have done, episodes. I've spoken at events, other people's events, but never my own. So it's definitely facing a personal fear doing this as well. But I don't think it's a fear I'm afraid, just fear of, am I going to execute this in the manner that God has called it to be? I know we talked about, if I've had any failures, with any of my conferences. There's only one really that comes to mind. And it wasn't necessarily a failure in the execution of anything, a failure in the attendance or anything. We sold out. We sell out we sell out every year. Please don't wait till the last minute to do this.
that's awesome.
Yeah, but that year was different because I was so disobedient.
Disobedient, you said.
Disobedient and what he was
As
I
to
did
what?
what Kayla wanted to do,
Okay.
not necessarily what God told me to do. And I was like, I don't really want to do it that way. I want to do it this way. No, I don't want to have it there. I'm going to do it here because I'm feeling there was a situation with the other space. that had nothing to do with the event center itself. It's just a situation like around it. And I was just like, I don't want to do it there. I don't want to do it this way. I don't want to. And it gave as it always gives, but it wasn't anything like we've done in the past.
Well, whenever you put in on events, you learn and grow from pros and cons, successes, failures, hurdles you have to overcome. So you're in your fifth year, so I'm sure you've ironed out a lot of wrinkles. And I'm sure it's going to be a success, especially because you say you believe it's your mission to pour into women and to empower them. And because women can sometimes appear like we have it all going on outside, but at our inside, our homes could be crumbling.
Literally.
So that's encouraging because we do need to be lifted up. And I believe the time is now for women. I mean, we had a woman running for president. We have a lot of exciting things going on. Women are starting businesses like never before, excelling in higher education, raising children, getting married, or choosing not to get married, whatever we want.
It's still working their business too, baby. Like what you want to do, you can be whatever you want to be.
That's you. You definitely can. So what are the dates of your conference and where will it be held?
We are at Lake Arlington Church in Arlington, Texas, off of Little Road, 2912 Little Road, Arlington, at Lake Church. We are November 8th that evening. Doors open at 6:30. We're going to start at 7. We're starting on time at 7. So doors open at 6:30, start at 7, and then we come back Saturday. And doors are opening at 11. We're going to get started about 12 or so. We have over 14 vendors that will be here. So we want to make sure that you guys get enough time to eat. We'll have some breakfast food trucks out there for you guys. Plenty of vendors to come in. We have mocktails set up for you. There is a full service coffee bar that'll be there for you guys as well. Different photo opportunities. Two of the vendors, we are pressing shirts, like custom shirts. Like you pick your shirt, you pick your print, and they're pressing them right on the spot. Same thing, they're doing them with trucker hats too. We have a trucker hat vendor this year that you pick whatever you want and they're pressing them on the spot. So those are the two.
So nice goodies.
Yeah, it's gonna be
coffee.
Yeah, so I mean, we got food trucks, we got coffee. The big thing for me this year is where we had our very first one in 2017. We actually purchased that space for overflow, so you guys would have a place to sit down and eat. So it has come full circle for us to have to purchase where we started as an overflow space.
That's awesome. So you are expecting a great turnout and to be able to inspire and encourage women and for women to come just to have a good time, eat good, socialize, nice goodies. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we got every vendor is providing a giveaway. So every entry that comes with your raffle. So make sure you're all there on Friday because we're only doing the giveaways on Friday because we just don't have the time on Saturday.
Awesome. And your goal is for women to leave that conference with what?
Confirmation of whatever God's been working on them with.
Awesome.
This is my biggest expectation. What am I most excited about has been what some of the speakers have been asking me. I'm excited to see the breakthroughs. That's what I'm excited about the most. The breakdowns and the breakthroughs. Like I am so excited.
So this is Fearless Conference, November 8th and 9th at Lake Arlington Church here in Arlington, Texas.
In Arlington, Texas.
Yeah, great lineup of speakers, including yourself, who will be the keynote, first time ever. So you are making a major accomplishment, and I'm sure it's a hurdle that you have to get through nerves and I'm sure you're going to do a great job. Come through with boldness.
I'm excited.
Encourage the women that are coming out. Awesome. Well, I'm excited for you, Kayla. Well, what are your social handles so people can follow you and tap into the link so they can purchase a ticket and know how to find you?
So on IG, it's the Fearless Conference 2024, and it's all the underscore between it.
Okay.
So you can find us there. All the information will be on our website, which is www.thestutsons, fearlesstons.com. Just click on the link where it says the Women's Conference. You can click down, check that out. There's a sub menu there that'll show you all of our vendors that are coming in as well. So if you guys want to take a sneak peek at that, including the food trucks, they'll be on there as well. Facebook, there is a group that we're posting all the information in as well. It's an event. So if you just search the Fearless Conference 2024, you'll see my photo with a pink background.
Awesome. So Fearless 2024. Kayla Stutson, we are excited, and I'm going to purchase my ticket. I'm just excited on the things that you're working with, that God has given you to inspire and encourage women. That is what this show is about, and I hope you guys learned something and come out. Kayla, give your social handle one more time and the dates of the conference.
So the social handle, Instagram, the Fearless Conference 2024, all divided by the underscore. You can find everything on our website, thestudsons.com. Search Facebook events for the Fearless Conference 2024. Pink photo, me in a black dress, kind of looking to the side. So, little sneaky link, little pic for y'all. And also we're doing a giveaway as well. So whatever sister invites the most like paid ticket attendees, there's a gift for you as well.
Awesome.
So when you go to the website to register, it'll ask who invited you. And so we're keeping track of who all invited who. And on Friday, we'll announce whoever invited the most women and she gets a gift.
So tell your friends, bring your girlfriends out.
Tell them to put your name in first and last name.
Yes. Thank you for speaking with me today. Thank you for joining the show. I appreciate you. And remember, ladies who are listening, to be fearless. Go forward. And despite what you think or how you may feel, God has something for you to do, and go and do it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Kayla.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.